Hi, I'm Donna Stanley with Endless Mountain Labradors, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about how to introduce your dog to water. The first thing that I would say don't ever do is don't ever force your dog into the water. If you push your dog into the water, they'll never go in, or you're gonna have a hard time getting them to go in. If you shove them into a lake or off a dock, you're gonna have a hard time. My husband snuck and did that with one of our Labradors, and he still doesn't get down to the pond. He kind of hangs out near the pond, but it's taken us a whole year, and finally he has started going in, very tentatively, but he has. The best way to do this, and I've done this for 30 years, whenever we've had a pond on our property, I start with the puppies as early as 8 weeks old. You can even start earlier if you want. What I do is I take them down to the pond, and I go out maybe about 2, 3, 4 feet, and I just coax the puppy, come on, come on, come on, come on. And you know, they'll pace a little bit on the shoreline. And then as soon as they step into the water, I get a hold of them, I bring them out, I let them float for maybe just a couple seconds so I feel their little feet going, and then I take them right back to the shoreline. So they know that they can always go back to shore. And then I'll bring them out a little further, let them swim back that time. And then we'll take them out just little by little. We're talking a foot at a time till they feel that they are safely being able to get back to the shore and feel confident. Now, a lot of them are gonna be clumsy and they're gonna come out of the water like this, and you're gonna think, oh my gosh, my dog's gonna drown. Some dogs take a little longer to get used to that, and some will just whoop, 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 really smooth and just start swimming. And I've got Labradors, and I've had the really, awkward ones at start, and I've had the really smooth ones. The other thing that you want to remember is when you're having a dog jump off maybe a dock or something high into water, you want to have maybe a grippy surface, because they could be slipping and sliding and pulling a ligament or an ACL. So some safety in that area is really important. Also, keeping your dog away from frozen bodies of water. And then just for pools, I would recommend that if you have an in-ground pool, do the same kind of thing that I was mentioning with a pond that has a grade. You want to do it very slowly, make sure that they can get out on the steps and can do that safely. If you have an above ground pool, it's gonna be a little more tricky because they're gonna have to learn to go up that ladder, or you may wanna get them a vest. A vest is really good for any dog that's swimming in a large body of water. I had one of my Labradors over 20 years ago. We took her up to our lake cottage in Canada, and it's miles and miles long, and she jumped in the water and just kept swimming and swimming and swimming. I realized she wasn't gonna stop. So we had to go out after her on the boat. So we got a vest at that point, so we never had to worry about her getting tired or anything like that. So getting a vest is very important for your dog, I would say, no matter what, because that way, whenever you go somewhere where it's a large body of water, you'll have that. Some other things that are important is pool covers. You wanna make sure your dog isn't digging at those or walking on those during the winter, and hopefully you have a fence around your pool anyway for safety, because I've heard of dogs falling in and drowning, getting caught under the cover. That would be horrible. So the other thing that's really important, and I just discovered this last year, was I had some friends who had some dogs who were swimming and had swam for months or years. All of a sudden, we're in the pool, the person went inside for just a minute, came out, and the dog was at the bottom of the pool, and it was dead. There is something very important that if you, especially are getting a Labrador, you want to check for your breeder clearing for a condition called EIC, which is exercise-induced collapse. And that is exactly what happened in those situations. Was the dog had one of those episodes, became immobile, could not keep itself afloat, and went right to the bottom. So it's very important to remember. So thanks so much for listening to this video. If you've liked it, please give us a thumbs up. Also, if you've enjoyed it, please subscribe. This is the subscribe button, and that way you'll be able to get all the latest videos on our YouTube channel, which is Endless Mountain Labradors, Endless MT period Labradors, and we'll always keep you updated on the latest trends, latest information, and latest research. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.